Hello. Have you ever found an object that you'd like to transfer into wood, to actually make in wood, and wondered how to do it? It doesn't really matter what the object is. You might want to carve, say, something like this shoe. It could be a brush, for example. You want to make a sort of faux brush. It doesn't really matter what the object is, but there is a way of getting this object into a piece of wood step by step that I want to show you. We're not going to do a brush or a shoe. We're going to actually carve this little bird which has been sitting in my garden for ages. We're going to use this as our object. I'm not actually going to give you the working drawings for this, but I want to show you step by step how you can go about doing it for something you want to carve yourself. If we take this shoe as just an example of an object, there are three principal views of this object. This view that you're looking at here is the side view, obviously, and there's a plane in front here of the camera, and we're looking directly here at the shoe. This is the side view, and of course there's another side view on the other side. So we have a side view. We also have a top view. That's this way. So in the plane this way, 90 degrees to this one, we have the top view. And then we have one other view, which is the end view, like this. So in the plane here, 90 degrees to everything else, that's the end view. So we have three views. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter which order you do them in, but if we use a square piece of wood, we can project these views onto that wood, and that'll help us get straight into the carving. Okay, so let's turn to our bird. It's a lot smaller, but it still has three principal views. Here's the side view, and of course there's one on this side as well. But there's a side view, there's a top view, and you can see how the bird is turning like this, and of course there's an end view like this. So these are our three views. And to begin with, I want to make a drawing of these views. In my carving, I'm not going to include this stand. I'm just going to stick it onto some sort of little dowel or something like that to lift it above the background. What we need to understand is that this plane here on this paper is the surface of a piece of wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to project this outline in this direction onto the wood, onto the surface of the wood. So I would start by putting a line in something like this, line up my object on it, and have this square. So we're going to make sure that's exactly where it is. Then I'll project down vertically using this square like this, and I would make a series of dots. It's a little difficult to do this with the camera in the way, but I'd make a series of dots here and going round on this side here where that touches, because you can't really use your eye because you need to be exactly vertical above it. So you project the silhouette of that side onto that piece of paper like this as you go around, making dots. And then once you've got your dots, you then draw the line in and fill it in. So I've done this here. I think you can see this is one I did for the bird here. I also made a projection, and it's quite difficult with the stand in the way. I made a projection coming down this way, so I'm projecting down onto the wood here, this way. I also had a go at making a one in this direction. Very difficult, and usually there's usually one of these directions that's more difficult than the other. So although I've got that, as very I could, I've ended up here with two really good ones and one I'm not too sure about. But what I've got here then is a projection of the side, a projection of the top of the bird, a projection of the end. Now what's very important, really important, is that these various parts register. In other words, where this is into the wood here, from the edge of the wood, so this is wood that's going to be taken away, is going to be the same here. So that this line here and this line here will be at the same point. And you can see here, for example, the bird drops down here. So if we come across here, we'll know that there's this bit of the bird here. So everything here should correspond. I've allowed for a piece of wood to hold it here. That's what I'm going to do. But can you see that everything must relate? I don't think this one's very accurate, but and this is a simple picture, but you might have something here that actually connects there. You might have something here that connects there. So everything, like on a graph, this direction and this way, those lines will correspond to these lines here. So that's called registering, and you want to be sure that this drawing works with this drawing, so the two are the same. Taking this drawing, which is a side view, I've stuck it onto this piece of wood like this. So this is a side view. Now if I take that to the bandsaw and cut it out, here it is in the bandsaw, and I cut these bits off. Okay, what I've got here is a projection of this view through the wood. Now you might only have one view, a side view, but what's important about it is that if you think about the bird, on that side view, what you've got is a sort of high spot all the way down here. It's not in the right place this way, but somewhere on this back here there is a high spot, so that where wood is not going to be removed, because that's our outline. So that immediately gives you a really good reference point for the rest of the bird, and you could draw this bird in, or you could have a second view like this. So I've got a second view here, and I've stuck the first view, the top view and the side view together on the wood. And again, it's important that you make sure everything corresponds with your picture, your two pictures. So what you would do is you would bandsaw this out, the first view, and then you would put this wood back. And now you can pin this in places that won't be bandsawed through, or you can tape it. And then, having taped it, you've done the one view, you tape it back down again, you then cut it through the second view. So you make two cuts with the bandsaw, and if we take all this off now, and I just glued it down so it didn't fall apart in my hand, so let's just take all this wood away. That's good quality tape. Here we go. So there is our bird in sort of outline form. So we've got a side view projected this way, and we've got a top view projected this way, and it means we've got high spots down here, which is really great, and we've got high spots down here. So our main problem, it will be taking away these corners. And we're already, with this projection, a long way into the carving. I intend to make this bird a lot bigger. So what I've done is I've gone to my scanner, my printer, and I've blown up these two side views to the wood that I've got. This is a little piece of the wood, give you an idea. So here's the side view, there's the top view, and what I've done is I've allowed for a piece of wood here that I'm going to hold it with, because that is a problem. We've got to think about that quite early on. So I then of course went to my bandsaw. It's exactly as I did with the little bird. I bandsawed the side view here and taped it back on, bandsawed through the top there. In fact, you can see probably more easily the bandsaw cuts through here. So this is fun. So I now take this apart, all these bits here, the tape comes apart, which I haven't seen this, and voila. I love all these really interesting shapes that we've got, but I'm afraid they are firewood. So anyway, here's my starting bird, and it's exactly as before. I've got my piece of wood to hold it, which I'm going to have to cut back a little bit here. in order to get a grip of it. I've got my high spot along here somewhere. I've got my high spots along the side and here. Because it's got a little beak sticking out this way, I've got the grain going in the direction of the wood. So I've thought about that. I've thought about how do I make this fairly strong. So I've thought about that, and I've thought about holding. So with that, I've now got a piece of accurately bandsawed out wood that I can get on with the carving and be quite confident I'm going to get quite close to it quite quickly.